Imagine this: you meet a woman who instantly captures your attention. She's beautiful, yes, but there's something deeper, something magnetic about her energy. And in that moment, the question hits you: what would it take for someone like her to truly fall in love with me? Most men believe the answer lies in charm, good looks, or success. But here's the twist: it's none of those things. Love doesn't happen because of what you show off. Love happens because of what you awaken in her. And once you understand this, everything about the way you connect with women changes forever. Most men walk into a room thinking they need to have something extraordinary to offer: money, looks, a flashy lifestyle, to capture a woman's heart. But here's what they don't realize: none of that makes her fall in love. She might notice those things, she might even be intrigued for a moment, but they don't keep her. What keeps her is the way she feels when she's with you. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who didn't tick all the boxes on paper, yet you couldn't stop thinking about them? That's because feelings override logic every time. A woman doesn't replay the image of your car in her mind before she goes to bed. She replays how safe you made her feel when she was vulnerable, how excited you made her feel when you shared a dream, how beautiful she felt when you looked at her like she was the only person in the room. That's the currency of love. Not what you own, but the emotions you create. And the man who understands this instantly becomes more powerful than the one who is only trying to impress. Most men think attraction is about what they say, but the truth is, it's often about what they don't say. When you truly listen to a woman, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but really absorbing her words, you give her something rare. Most people live in a world where no one genuinely hears them. If you can be the man who leans in, who catches the excitement in her voice when she talks about something she loves, who notices the pause when she hesitates to share something vulnerable, you instantly separate yourself from every other man. Listening isn't passive, it's active. It's showing her with your eyes, your body language, your silence, that what she's saying matters. And when she feels heard, she feels understood. When she feels understood, she feels safe. And when she feels safe, she starts to let you into the parts of her world that no one else gets to see. That's not small talk, that's intimacy, and that's where love begins. It's easy to compliment a woman on her beauty, to tell her she looks amazing, or that her smile is incredible. Every man does that. But the man who makes her fall in love notices the things no one else pays attention to. It's when you pick up on how her voice changes when she talks about something she's passionate about, or how she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's nervous, or even the way she scrunches her nose when she's thinking. These are the little details that say, "I see you." And when a woman feels seen in those small, unspoken ways, she feels special in a way that words alone can't capture. Because it's not just that you're looking at her, it's that you're actually paying attention, you're tuned in. And that kind of presence tells her she's not just another face in the crowd. She's someone whose essence leaves an impression on you. That's when admiration shifts into connection, and connection is the doorway to love. Every woman is walking through life with a part of her that wonders, can I really be myself with this man? She may smile, she may laugh, she may even flirt, but deep down she's testing. Can I show him my insecurities, my fears, my quirks, and still be accepted? When you create an environment where she feels she doesn't have to perform, where she doesn't have to be perfect, you unlock something extraordinary. Because love isn't built when she's putting on her best face. Love is built when she takes that mask off, and you embrace what's underneath. If she tells you about a dream, and you don't mock it but encourage it, if she shares a fear, and you don't minimize it but honor it, you've given her the greatest gift. emotional safety. And once she feels that safety with you, she'll crave your presence, because with you she can breathe, she can relax, she can just be. And that's when she realizes she doesn't just like being around you, she needs to be around you. A woman doesn't fall in love with you because of what you bring to the table. She falls in love with the version of herself that comes alive when she's with you. If she feels funnier, freer, more confident in your presence, that's what bonds her to you. Think about it. When you're with someone who constantly makes you doubt yourself, you pull away. But when you're with someone who makes you feel like the best, most radiant version of yourself, you want more of that energy. If you can be the man who sparks her laughter when she's stressed, who reminds her of her strength when she forgets it, who makes her feel beautiful in ways that go beyond appearance, you stop being just another guy because you become her source of light. And love is magnetic to light. She doesn't just fall for who you are. She falls for how she feels when she's around you. That's the real chemistry, and that's what makes love stick. Confidence isn't about walking into a room and demanding attention. It's about walking into a room and not needing it. A woman can feel when a man is trying too hard to prove himself, because underneath the bravado, there's insecurity. Real confidence is quieter, calmer, and far more magnetic. It's the certainty that you know who you are, you know what you stand for, and you're not afraid of losing her because you understand your own value. That kind of energy doesn't just attract her, it relaxes her. She doesn't feel like she has to constantly validate you. She doesn't feel like she's carrying the weight of your ego. She gets to simply enjoy being with a man who is grounded. And here's the paradox. The less you need her to love you, the more space you give her to actually fall in love. Certainty is irresistible because it tells her you're not chasing approval. You're offering presence. And that presence, that calm assurance, makes her want to stay. Most men think love is won by chasing harder, by proving themselves, by constantly trying to earn her attention. But the truth is, the more you chase, the more you signal that you don't believe you're enough. A woman doesn't fall in love with a man who's desperate for her validation. She falls for the man who already knows his worth and invites her into his world. When you stop trying to convince her of your value and instead live in that value, you naturally become magnetic. You show her that your life is full, that your energy is rich, that your standards are high, and that if she's with you, it's because she adds to something already beautiful, not because you need to complete you. That's the kind of man who makes her lean in, not pull away. Because while one man is running after her, hoping to be chosen, you stand still with quiet strength, and she realizes you're the one who chooses. That shift from chasing to attracting is the difference between being temporary and unforgettable. A woman doesn't fall in love with the man who tries to cage her. She falls in love with the man who gives her wings and still makes her feel wanted. Love is never about possession. It's about freedom. When you try to control her, when you make her feel like she has to shrink her world just to keep you comfortable, she will eventually rebel. But when you encourage her to grow, to chase her passions, to live fully, and at the same time make her feel deeply valued, she begins to see you as rare. Because you're not competing with her independence, you're celebrating it. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more freedom she feels with you, the more she chooses you. The more she knows you won't clip her wings, the more she wants to fly back to you. That balance, cherishing her without suffocating her, is what makes a woman feel safe to love deeply and stay loyal forever. When you think about why someone becomes unforgettable to us, it's never just because they were attractive or charming or even kind. It's because of the way they made us feel, and not just one feeling. It's because they gave us a range of emotions, a spectrum of experiences that kept our hearts and minds alive in their presence. A woman doesn't fall in love because you made her laugh one night, or because you had one deep conversation that lasted till sunrise. She falls in love because with you she feels a beautiful variety. She feels excitement, joy, mystery, comfort, desire, and peace, all in the same connection. Think about the most addictive experiences in your own life. They're never one-dimensional. If you go to a restaurant and the food is good, but the service is dull, or the atmosphere is flat, you won't remember it. But when the flavors surprise you, when the music sets the tone, when the people make you feel alive, you crave going back. That's exactly what love feels like for a woman. It's not about being the funniest guy she's ever met. It's not about being the most serious or the most romantic. It's about being the man who can touch different strings of her heart, so that every time she's with you, she feels like she's living a richer, more colorful version of life. Now, let me tell you why this is so powerful. Most men make the mistake of choosing one lane and staying there. Some men are endlessly entertaining their fun. They crack jokes. They keep things light. And at first, women adore that. But after a while, if all you bring is laughter, she'll start to feel like you don't really see her deeper side. Other men go the opposite way. They're deep, thoughtful, intense. And that's intoxicating in the beginning, too. She feels like, finally, someone who listens, someone who understands me. But if that's all you bring, eventually the relationship starts to feel heavy, like it's always a therapy session, never a dance. Then there are men who focus on being the protector, the one who provides stability and certainty. And that's beautiful, but if there's no excitement, no spark, the relationship begins to feel more like duty than passion. Here's the secret: none of these qualities are wrong. In fact, all of them are essential. But the man who can weave them together, the man who can create emotional variety, is the man who becomes unforgettable. He is the man she can't stop thinking about, because with him, she doesn't get one version of love, she gets the whole spectrum. Imagine this. One moment you're making her laugh so hard she forgets about everything stressing her out. The next moment you're looking her in the eye and asking her a question so thoughtful, so attentive, that she feels more understood than she has in years. Later, when she shares a fear or a doubt, you hold her with such steady calm that she feels safe in your arms, as if nothing could touch her when she's with you. And then, when the energy shifts, you can create a spark of desire, that playful tension that makes her want to be close to you, to touch you, to feel wanted by you. That's the rhythm of love. Laughter, depth, safety, passion, a dance between lightness and intensity. That's what keeps her addicted, not to the idea of you, but to the experience of being with you. Now, let's go deeper into why this variety matters so much. At her core, a woman wants to feel alive. She wants to feel like being with you is not just a relationship, but an adventure. That doesn't mean you need to be jumping out of planes or booking surprise trips every weekend. It means that emotionally, you keep her world vibrant. Because think about it, when people say they're bored in a relationship, it's rarely about the other person's appearance or job. It's because the emotional landscape has gone flat. Love isn't about finding someone who keeps everything steady all the time. Love is about finding someone who can make life feel like a story worth living. Picture a novel with only one chapter repeating over and over again. Would you keep reading? Probably not. But if every chapter brings a twist, a turn, a new layer of depth, you'd stay hooked until the very last page. That's what you're giving her when you create emotional variety. You're writing a love story with her where every page feels different, and yet every page draws her deeper in. So how do you do this? How do you actually bring that emotional spectrum into your connection with her? Let me break it down. It starts with playfulness. Playfulness is one of the most underrated forms of connection. Teasing her gently, making fun of yourself, turning a mundane moment into something fun, that lightness is oxygen for a relationship. It's what makes her heart feel young, no matter how stressful life gets. When you joke with her in the middle of doing groceries, when you make her laugh on a walk to the car, you remind her that being with you is joy, not a chore. But playfulness alone isn't enough. After the laughter, there must be depth. When you switch gears and ask her about what excites her, what scares her, what dreams she hasn't told anyone else, you open a door into intimacy. Most people live at the surface level. When you show her that you're curious about her soul, not just her body or her stories, she feels a connection that's rare. She begins to think, this man actually gets me, and that feeling of being understood. It's one of the strongest foundations of love. Then comes safety. Every woman is carrying the weight of her own battles. Maybe it's her career, her family, her insecurities, her past relationships. When she's with you, she wants to feel like she doesn't have to carry it alone. And that doesn't mean fixing all her problems. It means being the steady ground she can lean on. It's the way you listen without judgment, the way you hold her when she's fragile, the way you reassure her that she doesn't need to be perfect to be loved. That safety becomes the reason she trusts you with her heart. But then don't forget desire, because safety without desire becomes friendship. And she doesn't want to just feel safe with you. She wants to feel wanted by you. Desire isn't just physical, it's in the way you look at her across the table, the way you let silence linger just long enough to build tension, the way you make her feel like the most captivating woman in the room. That fire is what separates love from companionship. Without it, the relationship becomes flat. With it, it becomes electric. When you can bring all of these dimensions, playfulness, depth, safety, desire, you become the man who gives her a full spectrum of love. And here's the part most men don't realize. It's not about being perfect in all of these areas all the time. It's about being fluid, about knowing when to shift gears. If she's stressed, you bring lightness. If she's excited, you go deeper into her passion. If she's afraid, you bring calm and strength. If she feels distant, you spark desire. That ability to read the moment and meet her where she is, that's the art. That's the skill. And let me tell you something powerful. When you give a woman this variety, you don't just make her fall in love with you. You make her fall in love with life through you. She begins to associate you with her most alive moments. She looks at you and remembers the laughter, the depth, the safety, the fire. And in her mind, you're no longer just a man she's dating. You're the man who makes her world richer. Chooses you over and over again. Now, not IRANDOM, to imagine her talking to her friends about you. She won't just say he's funny. She'll say he makes me laugh, but he also knows how to have the deepest conversations. She won't just say he's stable. She'll say, I feel so safe with him, but he also excites me. She won't just say he's passionate. She'll say, there's this spark between us, and yet he still feels like home. That's when you know you've become unforgettable, because you're not one thing, you're many things, and in a world full of men who choose one lane, you've become the man who gave her the whole road. And here's the final piece. Variety doesn't mean inconsistency. It doesn't mean being unpredictable in a way that makes her doubt you. It means creating emotional layers within the consistency of your character. She should always know you're trustworthy. She should always know you care. But within that foundation, you bring surprise, play, passion, and depth. That's what makes love last, because falling in love isn't about one moment. It's about the collection of moments. It's not about one feeling. It's about the orchestra of feelings, and the man who understands that doesn't just capture a woman's attention. He captures her heart, her soul, and her loyalty. That's what emotional variety is. That's the art of love. The greatest secret about love is this: a woman doesn't truly fall for you because of who you are. She falls because of how she feels about herself when she's with you. Think about that for a second. That means your power is not in constantly trying to prove yourself, not in trying to impress her with what you own or what you've achieved, but in becoming the mirror that reflects back the most extraordinary version of her. And when she looks at you and sees a man who makes her love herself more, that's when you become irreplaceable. Now, most men don't understand this. They think love is about convincing a woman that they are the prize. They show off their success, their strength, their charm, hoping she'll notice. And maybe she does for a moment. Maybe she's even impressed. But here's the truth: impressed isn't the same as in love. She might admire you, but admiration fades if it doesn't transform into something deeper. The man who truly wins her heart is the one who turns the spotlight back onto her and makes her feel extraordinary in her own skin. Imagine being with someone who makes you feel like the most confident, radiant, alive version of yourself. Wouldn't you crave more of them? Wouldn't you feel addicted to their presence? That's exactly what happens for her when you master this. She doesn't just want you, she wants the way she feels when she's around you. That's the magic formula. So how do you do it? How do you become the man who makes her love herself more? It begins with attention, not the shallow kind, but the kind that sees past the surface. Every woman, no matter how confident she seems, has parts of herself she doubts. Parts she feels the world doesn't notice, or worse, parts she thinks the world wouldn't care about. When you're the man who notices the little victories she celebrates, when you validate the parts of her personality she thought were invisible, you're not just giving her a compliment, you're rewriting the way she sees herself. Let me give you an example. Most men will tell a woman she's beautiful. And of course, she likes hearing it. But it's surface level, it's expected, it's lazy. The man who really makes her light up is the one who notices that she gets more animated when she talks about something she loves, and says, "Do you realize how your eyes change when you're talking about that? You look unstoppable when you're passionate like this." That's not just a compliment, it's a revelation. Because in that moment, you're not just praising her beauty, you're praising her aliveness, and that's something she'll remember. Or imagine she's had a hard day and she feels small, unimportant. You're the man who reminds her of the times she's been strong, who says, "You don't even realize how powerful you are when you push through things like this." Suddenly she doesn't just feel comforted, she feels stronger in herself. That's the difference between pity and empowerment. And empowerment is addictive. When she's with you, she should feel like the world expands. She should feel like her laughter is louder, her dreams are bigger, her possibilities are wider. And here's the key: you don't do this by making it about you. You do it by drawing out her. Too many men try to be the hero in a woman's story. They want to swoop in, save the day, fix everything. But the truth is, a woman doesn't fall in love with her savior. She falls in love with the man who makes her realize she was her own hero all along. Your role is not to replace her strength, but to reveal it. And yes, it's in the little things, The way you celebrate her ideas instead of dismissing them? The way you ask her opinion on something important to you, showing that her voice matters? The way you encourage her to take that leap she's been scared to take? Those small actions add up. They make her think, when I'm with him, I feel more me than ever. And when she feels more herself around you than she does around anyone else, where do you think her heart is going to want to stay? Let's go deeper. Every woman has a relationship with her own femininity, with her own sense of worth. Some women have been told they're too much, too emotional, too intense, too ambitious. Others have been told they're not enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not lovable enough. When you're the man who flips that script, when you're the one who makes her intensity feel magnetic, who makes her ambition feel inspiring, who makes her flaws feel human and lovable, you're not just her partner, you become her safe space, and safe space doesn't mean boring. It means she knows she can bloom with you. Think about the women in your life who left a lasting mark on you. Was it because they were perfect? No, it was because of the way you felt like a better man around them. Now flip that. Be the man who makes her feel like the most alive woman. That's how you etch yourself into her heart. Let's talk about the balance here, because making her love herself more isn't about mindless flattery. It's not about inflating her ego just to keep her happy. It's about authenticity. If you tell her she's brilliant at something when she knows she's not, it will feel fake. But if you notice her effort, her growth, her passion, and you acknowledge that she'll trust it, authenticity builds credibility, and credibility builds connection. And don't underestimate the power of challenging her in the right way, because yes, women want to feel supported, but they also want to feel stretched. If she talks about a dream she's been sitting on for years, the easy thing to do is just to nod and smile. But the man who makes her grow will say, "Why haven't you gone after it yet? You're more capable than you give yourself credit for. You're not criticizing, you're reminding her of her own power." And when she finally does take that step, she'll remember you as the one who believed in her more than she believed in herself. That's love on a deeper level. There's another layer here too, the way you handle her vulnerabilities. When she reveals a part of herself she's ashamed of, and you don't flinch, don't mock, don't withdraw, you send a message. You tell her that part of you is still lovable, and do you know how rare that is? Most people fear that if they show their messy side, the other person will run. But if you're the one who stays, who embraces her humanity, she won't just feel affection for you. She'll feel devotion. Because you've given her something the world rarely does, unconditional acceptance, and yet acceptance alone isn't enough. Because while she wants to feel loved as she is, she also wants to feel inspired to become more. That's the paradox of love. It's both home and adventure. You have to be the place she can rest and the spark that makes her rise. When you can be both, you become unforgettable. So picture this, she's with you, and she notices that every time she leaves, she feels lighter. She feels more confident, more excited about her life, more capable of handling whatever comes next. Subconsciously, she starts to link that feeling to you. You become the source of her best emotions, the reflection of her best self. And when that happens, love isn't a choice anymore, it's inevitable. Because here's the truth. A woman doesn't just want a man she admires. She wants a man who makes her admire herself more. She doesn't just want a man she desires. She wants a man who makes her feel desirable. She doesn't just want a man she loves. She wants a man who makes her love life more when she's with him. That's the secret no one tells you. That's the kind of man who doesn't just enter her heart. He lives there. And here's what it all comes down to: love isn't about tricks, games, or strategies. It's not about being the richest man in the room or the most charming one at the table. It's about being the man who makes her feel something extraordinary about herself when she's with you. Because when you're the one who brings out her laughter, her softness, her strength, her passion, when you're the man who helps her love herself more, you don't just win her attention, you win her heart. And the truth is, once she feels that, once she associates you with the very best version of who she is, she won't want to let you go. That's not just attraction, that's not just desire, that's love. And that's how you become the man she chooses, not just today, but every day.